Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is January 3rd, 2022, and today is Monday morning. So welcome back to the new year, 2022. And looking at the highlights from last Friday, gold rallied to 1828, a big resistance level for it. Now, there's no major economic events scheduled for the first Monday of the trading session. And looking at the various markets, starting off the year, we'll continue to trade in the upper range when it comes to the Forex symbols. When we looked at the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, both tapered off, but getting a bounce in early market trading. And looking at commodities, gold rallied to that resistance and oil tapering off from its highs of $76 a barrel. Now, looking at stocks, Apple and Microsoft both sell off, bring down the market to a lower level, but really on light volume. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin, pretty much unchanged. So we're going to take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're taking a look here at the GBP USD. You can see we hit that level of 135.37 and retracing below that about 40 pips. No big deal, but that's a retracement nonetheless. Okay, there is a bit of a resistance here at 135.37, as you can see. Now, what happens next is really going to be very important. Are we going to be selling off to the bottom to 131 again, which would be about 350 pips, or are we going to tread higher? So this is something to really keep a focus on later today, especially if we break this 134.80-ish level as well. Now, looking at the Aussie USD, we kind of gained some momentum on the upside here, but finally hitting the 72.79-ish level and then retracing. So that's another level for a US dollar based currency that is actually retracing. Now, I want everybody to pay attention to the Turkish Lira as well. And we're taking a look here at the Turkish Lira, at 4-hour chart. We had this nice little, this was a rocket star. Went to 118-ish level and then retracing back to 10. And now we're about almost right there, not midpoint, but right there, okay, where we could break out higher. If we do, then that means we'd be in the 15-ish range. Now, between the top and the low, it's about 8, and we're almost about there. Okay, we're almost about 50% from that level. But if we do break out higher here, this could be something of interest. Now, Turkey is going through a tremendous cycle economically right now with some of their issues internally. And this is really representing itself in the Turkish Lira as well. So keep this in mind as well. Now, jumping into commodities, looking at gold retracing at 1828 here to 1823, but still showing itself pretty strong as the market corrects itself. Now, looking at crude oil also hit 77 and also retracing here, but still pretty strong, okay, and not retracing big. Now, later this week, we do have OPEC meetings happening, so you do want to know about it, which should affect the price of oil. Now, jumping into the major indices, looking at the Dow Jones right here, trading at 36,323. Okay, earlier this morning, we were actually about 100 points above it, but now we're tracing down to 323, 322-ish level. So keep this in mind. If this does break down, this can continue selling down back to the 35,400-ish level, okay, as we correct here. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, also correcting itself here as it's taking these small retracements, but really it's the stocks. Okay, you got to keep an eye on Apple and Microsoft. Apple last week kind of did triple topped here, and so did Microsoft, and we mentioned this, okay, and didn't hold that above it. Okay, so today's a telltale sign to see if we do hold above it or we do sell off. So this is something to consider. Now, looking at some of the other stocks, Tesla also retraced a little bit, but that's about it. JP Morgan a little bit unchanged here, but generally speaking, coming into the new year, it's usually a sell-off month in January, but who's to say that that's going to be the case, as the markets are being supported by the central governments. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, look at this flatlining at 46,900-ish level and looking like it's really flatlined. Okay, what's going to happen today is going to be very interesting. We've been in a tight range for here, and we haven't been in such a tight range since last August of 2021, where we traded, really sideways for a very long time. Between all of December, we traded between a $6,000 range. Now, we're talking about Bitcoin here, so that's a pretty tight range for Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. As long as we don't break either higher or lower, we should continue this range-bound trading. This is Fred Razak, and I wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.